Hi everyone, welcome back. So I know most of the time I'm bringing you fitness videos, but today I am going to discuss why you should focus on getting abs and a strong core this new year and how that can change your health. So just stick around and let's go. All right, so I'm just gonna sit down today and just be comfortable, okay? So why do I always focus on getting a strong core? Most of my exercises, I'm telling you, flat abs. So maybe most of you might not know this, but I'm a clinician, okay? I'm in family practice and I do see patients in clinic. And I realized that, when I come to my patients and I tell them, lose weight is going to help with your heart health and everything, it doesn't really stick well with them, right? So then I decided, I was like, okay, how about I just work with them on their core and get their abs, because most of them, want to get, nice abs, toned abs for aesthetic reasons and so much. And by getting that in a healthy way, it also helps with their health. So let me explain to you what I mean by that, right? Sometimes when you're trying to lose weight, it's not really always about the scale, okay? Sometimes you lose weight and then the scale, you notice that the scale is not going down anymore. And the reason why the scale is not going down anymore is because, sometimes when you're losing weight, with dumbbells or with weights, any form of weight, you're gaining that muscle strength, right? And that muscle is not accounted for necessarily in, the scale, right? So that's where you need to start measuring, right? But the most important measure, I have my tape measure here, I'm going to show you, is your waist circumference. And I'll show you exactly where you need to check it shortly. Why is that important? Why do I always say core this, core that? And when I usually say core is literally a word we use for your abs, okay? So why is getting a flat tummy or getting, strong muscles in your core important? So just think about it. We have a lot of different organs here, okay? So we have, our liver, which is in our left upper here. We have our pancreas here. Then we have our intestines, we have so many things going on here. So when we gain a lot of weight, what usually happens is, we have something inside that we call visceral fat, okay? So this visceral fat basically ends up covering these organs and start causing issues. So from the heart and everything. And then over here, there are things we call arteries. So arteries are these very big tubes, right, that carry a lot of blood, okay? And these arteries, basically, there's a very big one over here, which is the abdominal aortic artery, right? We don't want that to cause any issues. So we want to reduce as much visceral fat here. And it's not only that for here, our spine, okay? So our spine, if you notice, it helps keep our posture and everything. How many times have you picked stuff up and you're always constantly doing this? Back pain is one of the number one reasons, I would say number two reasons why people come into, the clinic. And most of the time, sometimes it's arthritis and so many other things, right? But some of these back pain in the beginning can be avoided, by good posture. When you're picking stuff up, you use your lower, you use your lower muscles to pick stuff up instead of doing this. But what also happens is, for several reasons, when we gain weight, and especially for women, and I noticed this when I've had 2 C-sections. When I had my C-section, when I had my babies, it doesn't even have to be a C-section, right? When I had my babies, I realized that, I actually had an issue where I went to Ghana, when my daughter was, I have 2 babies. My daughter, when she was 1.5 years, I went and visited Ghana. And interestingly, I hadn't really worked on my core or my abs that well. And even though, yes, I had flat abs. So having flat abs also doesn't mean that you're working on your core. That's a very, very big thing that people mistakenly talk about. So basically, I went to Ghana. And at the airport, I was with her. This time around, I went with my friend, Lisa. Hi, if you're watching this. So I was with my friend, Lisa. We went to Ghana to visit. I hadn't seen my grandma in a long time. She wanted to see her great-granddaughter. This is like her first great-granddaughter. So, guys, I'm at the airport. And guess what? I'm at the airport and all of a sudden, I'm bending to pick my daughter up. And this is before Lisa came. So I did a different flight where I went to New York before I went straight to Ghana. There are different routes that you can go. Okay. So I'm just bending to pick her up and Lisa was meeting me in New York, right? So I bent to pick her up and oh my God, my back. Okay. So Not like I didn't believe my patients when they said they have back pain, coming in the office, a pain of 10 over 10. No, this time around, I surely believed them because I hadn't worked on my core, and then I did that whole picking like this, and oh my God, did I have excruciating back pain. I was walking like this. I have an active 18-year-old, obviously running, in the airport, free. So I just had to call someone, I was like, please, can you, get her for me? So my whole flight to Ghana was so horrible, right? And then I was still breastfeeding her at that time. So I'm sitting in the airplane, and she is just like, screaming and bawling, and I'm so much in pain, and she was, it was just a horrible flight. Anyway, she slept through the flight because it was in the evening, but Lisa came and she helped, but then she didn't want to go to Lisa. Long story short, I get to Ghana. It took me at least 3 days of my trip to recover from this. What really helped was I had to take some muscle relaxing, do some stretches. This could have been avoided if I had truly worked on my inner core. At that time when I had my daughter, I was working out, I was doing weights, but I didn't do exercises that was really focusing on my inner core strength and building those core strength, right? And hence the reason why I really from that time onwards focused on my core. And when I had my son recently last year, I decided to focus on my core right away, right? So all the exercises that I share, if you notice, I do a lot of compound moves. They are meant to really focus on that inner core. And I always tell you, hold tight. But nutrition is also important, right? To get that. So let's go back to the whole visceral fat thing. So that visceral fat, number one, just by losing weight in general helps with, get rid of that inner fat, okay? And then strengthening your core, with Pilates, with yoga. It doesn't have to be heavy weights. Like I always say, I love heavy weights. That's why I do, not necessarily heavy weights. I just love weightlifting, right? And I love using weights, to work out. So if that's not for you, it's okay. But Pilates is great. You only just sometimes need your body. You just need a ball, okay? So I'm going to show you I have these little pointers here to make sure that I don't go off track because I get too excited. Okay, so I talked about the scale. Okay, we talked about the organs and then protecting your back. Oh, yes. And then after having a C-section, right? So when you have a C-section, it's not so with women who have vaginal deliveries, but still your core is affected or your abs are affected when you have a baby in general because, it's spreading out. But more so with C-section, they cut through several layers, right? And there's this muscle that we call the rectus abdominis, right? That is, your six-pack muscle. That is kind of like the last step to get into, your uterus, or whatever. They literally, it's so gruesome if you ever watch it. Don't YouTube it or Google it if you're, sensitive. But they literally split it apart. They open that six-pack. They destroy it in order to get to the baby, right? Most women don't know this. So when I had my daughter, I had something called diastasis recti, right? So diastasis recti is where like the abdominal muscle has like a hole. Sometimes you put your finger there. I still kind of have it. The way to tell if you have diastasis recti, and I also have that hernia, is when you lay down and you're trying to get up, you put your finger here, and I still have like two fingers, like right there, I can put, and then when you sit up, you feel like there's like a space there. I had that with my daughter. Most people repair that surgically, but I, repaired that naturally, by doing the exercises that I show you. And then of course I had another C-section with my son, and then he came back. This time around with vengeance is 4. So now I've been able, it was 4-finger literally. And now, through exercising, I've been able to, keep on repairing it and naturally. And then now it's 2 fingers, right? So, and then I developed, the hernia too and all of that. So going back to my point of the C-section, yes, is the fact that we need to make sure that we are strengthening that core muscle, right? So when I do exercises, when I tell you, and I think I did a video about this on TikTok or something, when I tell you to hold up really tight, this is really helping those lower muscles. It's not just for your glutes. Like I said, every exercise has its benefit, but when you do this, you're really helping those lower abdominal muscles. You know how sometimes after a C-section, people complain like, I have scar pain and everything. There is a lot that goes on in our lower abdominal region after we have a C-section. You have no idea. Like if you think, when I think about it, in the medical terms, it's such a miracle. Like women have no idea. When you survive a C-section, it is by the grace of God, okay? So let's not go there. So basically strengthening that core really helps you, to be able to lift the baby while play with your kids and everything, okay? Now, and another thing I always forget, of course, making you look good. Well, that's a cultural thing though. So culturally, some cultures, you don't have to, have a flat tummy. Let me tell you something funny. So every time I go home back to Ghana, right, to visit my grandma, who I love, 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 she always wants to fatten me up. She's always like, you're so skinny. But this time around, I really explained to her that to me, it's not about being skinny. I'm not even trying to lose weight even now. And that it's really about the health reasons, to get that energy, to get that confidence, to, be able to play around with my kids, And I try to explain to her that, her time was a little bit different from my time, right? Or right now. In her time, there weren't a lot of social media. The food was good, more organic foods, more movement around. Now we are so stagnant, and that's the need for me to actually exercise and get that strength on, as opposed to her. And like I said, she's nice and healthy. I hope I got her genes. All right, so now let's go quickly to how we're going to measure our waist circumference and why that is important. Okay, so you take this tape measure, you find your belly button. Okay, so my belly button is right there. Okay, and then you're going to go around your belly button, and then you're going to measure like this. Okay, so guys, I'm going to be very transparent with you. When I had my son, I was 36 inches. Can you imagine that? And within the past year and a half, look where I am. Look at that. 28 inches. Isn't that amazing? 36. Actually, I think I was 38. 38 inches all the way to 28 inches. I'm even surprised. I haven't checked it in a while. But anyways, so why is that important? So when the research is showing that when you want to, for females, you want to focus on 35 inches and below, and for males, you want to focus on 40 inches and below. Okay, I know males get, they get away with stuff. It's okay, but because women are special. But 35 inches and below is what you really want to focus on. Okay, and so when you're working out, when you're exercising, when you're trying to lose weight, from time to time, check this out, okay? Sometimes the scale might not be budging, but you can, check waist circumference. Like I said, you can check your hips. The reason why, I don't necessarily focus on getting a big butt, which I'm sure most individuals would love. Maybe I'll do some videos later, but I don't focus on that as much because there's not organs over here. It's really more for aesthetic reasons. However, the core is so important. So if you get that strong core without a big butt, it's okay. Okay, so I really want you to get that strong core. Okay, but 35 inches, and below for women, 40 inches and below for men. Okay, hope you love this. I just wanted to do this quick video before I started working out. I'm going to do a Pilates workout today, but please comment. Let me know if you want to hear more of this, and hence the reason why I'm always doing core training and doing all these core challenges. Okay, don't forget, January 6th, we start Core Ascend. You take care and you stay healthy.